And welcome to the show, everybody. Thank you so much for dropping by. This is Winged Radicals. I'm Peyton. He's Mike.
Hey, everybody.
I know what you're going to try to do.
What am I going to try to do?
You're going to try to fucking come in here and like you just fucking left MAGA country. And, bitch, I know you were in the bluest county in Tennessee, probably.
I don't know what the bluest county in Tennessee
latte
is.
liberal. You came back with new latte machines and shit.
We did right away. Got a new latte machine.
Damn it, boy.
Yeah, I was just in an open carry state. It was pretty liberating.
Yeah, there's two ways of looking at the word liberal in America. Actual liberty and...
I had lots of liberty up there, yeah.
So,
Yep, and my wife's turning around tomorrow and going right back to Chattanooga. Left Chattanooga on Friday, drove home for 9.5 hours, and 5 days later, is turning around, flying back up for work.
and do you have to take kids to school in the morning?
Yep.
Both of them?
Yeah, and then I have
Both
to drive.
of 'em?
Yep, and then I have to take both kids to two different schools. Well, each kid to a different school, and then drive up to Melbourne for a meeting with a vendor that we're trying to bring in. So I'm gonna then do.
I thought
that.
you were an engineer.
Yeah, but we're gonna have some people do stuff for us. So I'm gonna go up. We're gonna go up there.
Are you vetting them or are they vetting you?
Or vetting them?
That's good.
They were gonna try to come to Piper and showcase some stuff, but a lot of times the vendors will do that and they'll pull something out of their pocket and they'll be like, "Look at this," and then behind the scenes it's like a total shit show. So we're gonna go up there and actually see what's behind the curtain, you know, see how the sausage is made a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway,
So
the debates are going on.
the debates are going on and I'm sitting here fucking talking to you.
Yeah,
Like
it's
a
kind
schmuck.
of ridiculous. I watched the first half hour of them before starting the show, and it's fun. This one's better.
Is it?
It's like
It's
more
moving
lively.
day. You know?
It's what?
It's moving day.
What does
It's
that
kind of like, they all popped their cherry in the last one, and now there's an opportunity to really kind of coalesce around the anti-Trump or the non-Trump person. So they're all kind of got an opportunity to see if they can shore up that other side.
DeSantis just said Trump's not here and fucking called him out. And somebody brought up oh, what do you think about Trump or whatever? And it's like, he should be here. He really needs to be here to talk about some of this stuff. It's ridiculous. And so DeSantis actually went for him this time. So that was big. Two-turn Tony will not stop. And he won't start speaking out of turn, mind you. I don't think they've called on him yet.
Well, that's probably why, right? He has to do what he has to do.
So, but he won't go until the dinger has already gone off for the other person, and then they're like, "All right, we're moving on." He's like, "Fuck you, you are," and he'll just start talking. So that's been fun.
Did you happen to actually hear anything he said, substance wise? Was it good?
Oh yeah, no, it's good. It's good, but he keeps getting interrupted by the hosts or whatever we call them, the moderators, because they're like, "Shut the fuck up." So it's really tough to focus on what he's saying, even though it's good. I don't remember. He's done it twice now.
Were there any strong Nikki Haley moments?
She's not having as strong of moments as round
one.
Vivek's doing all right. Tim Scott's doing pretty good.
Christie.
Yes, he's doing well.
Yeah.
He's been chill, and he's been doing a lot better.
They're all just fucking cutting themselves, you know.
I think everyone's been great so far.
I'm just saying,
They're doing a good job.
there's so many of them that are.
They're all the same. They're all the same.
They're fine candidates for the modern Republican Party, but it doesn't matter. Yet it doesn't seem. It's like there's too many of them. There's just some of them.
Yeah, they just need to get out of the way. Some of them, but. They're all mostly in agreement with each other. Three of them did start bickering. Tim Scott called Vivek out for being a communist with China and funding Hunter Biden, which was shocking for Tim Scott. But Vivek went after Tim Scott last go around, and so Tim Scott's clearly still salty about that. And that was a big argument where DeSantis was like, "Guys, this is accomplishing nothing. This is the non-productive conversation," and everyone actually stopped talking and moved on.
It's interesting, Scott going after Vivek, because Scott was the guy I kind of initially thought might be really well suited to be Trump's running mate.
Scott?
Yeah, because several shows ago I mentioned that because
they seem to not hate each other, even though
they have
history.
kind of worked together on some legislation.
Even though
during
they've been
Trump's
like
administration.
opposite, and Trump said some shit, and Tim Scott's been like, "Hey, it's not cool," but they've like looked past it. Remember, Trump was saying some like racist shit, like great people on both sides or some shit, and Tim Scott.
Oh, that was
like,
long. That's water long under the bridge, you know.
I guess I feel like that's not water that goes anywhere. I feel like that shit stagnates.
Well,
But anyway,
I think they moved past that,
right. Yeah,
and
they,
worked
since
on
then they have seemed
legislation
to
that
get
benefited
right.
African Americans.
Correct. I agree with
or
you.
whatever.
Yes.
So obviously, being black helps. I mean, that's cool for the Republicans. I mean, that'd be a good look for
It
Trump.
is. It is cool. I've always wondered how cool it is. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So anyway, it's interesting because I feel like Scott was well suited to kind of be the person that would go behind, Trump's ticket, because Trump probably doesn't want a DeSantis like overshadowing him. He probably doesn't want obviously a Chris Christie that's attacking him all the time. So maybe like a Tim Scott would be a good.
But
sort
why
of
does
like
that
generic? Go ahead.
Why does that shock you in relation to Vivek? And
I
him
wasn't
going
saying.
after Vivek?
I don't know that I said I was shocked. I was saying that it's interesting for Tim to choose to attack Vivek because
Why?
Vivek is the one now that kind of seems like a mini Trump. Might be a Trump running mate.
Yeah, I think
So
it's.
I wonder if that was anything behind that.
I suspect it's more of the notes that they gave DeSantis to just hammer Vivek. I think they're worried that Vivek is gaining a lot of
I
traction.
guess he is number 2, isn't he? Still?
No. Oh, DeSantis is.
Yeah. No.
Yes. No, DeSantis is.
Vivek, I thought was number 2.
To Trump?
Yeah.
DeSantis is number 2. You're
Since-
number 2.
Have you looked at this?
Yeah, he's still number 2.
Pull it up.
Okay. I will pull it up.
Prove it, because I could have sworn.
The Goog.
Goo goo. I think it's the 25th anniversary of Google today or
DeSantis
something.
Still number 2.
Really?
Trump. What?
Could you not just go to
What's
Real Clear
going
Politics
on?
poll?
Bro, what is everything just fucked right now?
We need a new tech guy.
Oh my god, dude, I fucking Google, man. Hang on. I'm gonna quit the Google. We're gonna bring the Google back up. We're gonna go to OBS and we're gonna fix the Google real quick. Sorry, everybody. Oh, yep. This is happening. This is real life. Google new tab. Okay, we're back. Hopefully. All right.
Real Clear Politics poll.
DeSantis.
Override.
Trump.
So that was a successful search. You gave Google
All right, what
great
am I doing?
instructions.
What am I doing?
Real Clear Politics Republican poll.
Fuck, I'm so stressed.
You're fine. We're good.
Republican poll. This one?
Yeah, sure.
Why is it blue or purple? Are we sure about this, man?
Click on.
DeSantis, there you go. Fuck you. 14.4, baby. He's dipped, but fucking Ramaswamy's not even third.
Okay.
Haley's third. She's
enough.
fucking moved up, my guy.
There was something I saw, but apparently it was old or not
Fucking some
legitimate.
fake news bullshit.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, at
so
least you
anyway.
exposed that this shit's not working. So that's good. All right. Back to our faces. Not our faces, our bodies. Body
So yeah,
shot.
I mean, who cares? It's going to be fucking
cares?
Trump again. Yes.
Yes.
I hope I'm wrong. I
So
hope
far,
there's something that
his-
changes in
the-
New Hampshire.
The gap between Trump and number 2 has only gotten bigger.
Right. I understand polling could be wrong, but wow, it would have to be hella wrong.
Hella wrong. Yeah. Yeah. I just think there's a lot of undecided people still, and I don't think the first debates helped. They were kind of like, I didn't
There's
feel
too many of them.
yeah, there's
Everyone's got their little flavor.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We talked about like liking Nikki Haley after the last one, and then like Vivek was kind of cool, but like none of them were like, "Fuck yeah, he's
To be
my
honest
boy."
with you, I don't like any of them.
Yeah,
I
you like
mean,
Trump so much that
I
you
like
can't
Biden
even.
so much that I don't think anyone has a chance for my vote. Personally speaking,
I like his dog. I heard his dog's real nice.
what's his name?
Commander,
Commander.
like Commander in
That's a good
Chief.
name.
God, are you dumb? Sorry,
I mean,
maybe. Who knows?
relative to who? A fish?
Biden. That'd be a really low point in anyone's life. Yeah, that motherfucker's bitten 11 people, and I think the dog's bitten like 10.
So, speaking of the incompetence of the entire Republican Party, they can't pass a fucking budget.
Oh, you want to jump right into government spending?
Did you have something else?
No, I mean just the 7 other bullets, but let's do the big one.
Yeah, let's do the big one.
Let's do the big one.
I don't care.
You're gonna forget about all your other notes. That's why. Let's get it. Let's get it. I didn't take any notes. I watched the debate. So.
Look, I don't know. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of ways of looking at this other than the Republican Party is a complete joke, and I don't know what you're gonna say. I'm waiting. I've been waiting. I've just been wondering because I know I respect your opinion, and I know you're honest, and I know you've been listening to Fox News, and I just want to know what the fuck you're thinking, because this just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Who was responsible for the last government shutdown under Trump? Just like, who do you feel like was responsible for it? Probably. Speaking of incompetence, just go ahead and let's recap maybe on why we think the government shut down for the longest shutdown in U.S. history thus far. I think it was like 39 days. It probably wasn't the side that Trump was on.
Oh, am I caught in a trap?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know for sure. I was hoping you would just answer.
I don't even remember the last shutdown. I mean, I know there was a shutdown.
It was in 2019.
Okay.
It was really long. I don't know if it's the longest one. It was like 34, 35 days, something like that. It was a pretty long one.
Can't even remember.
I don't even know that the Democrats did it for sure. It seemed like they did.
It seems like it's been Republicans for a while that they've been doing this.
Maybe.
But
so am I jumping right into what do I think about it?
There's a famous quote about some Republicans said earlier in the last week, every time we shut down the government, we get blamed for shutting down the government. And it was just kind of like,
duh.
Yeah.
The Republicans.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant like I thought he meant like politicians.
No, this is a Republican
who
specifically,
else would be?
Because lately they've been the ones to do this. But
yeah. Well. Are we jumping right into? Hold on. I want to play a game real quick.
There's a lot of things. There's a lot of avenues into this. I'll grant you. So I'm just not sure how to start as usual. So I just thought I would jump into bashing Republicans as a default.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean they largely seem to be the ones to blame, but it's like it's kind of like victim shaming. But hold on, quick game. When you're done with that sip, on 3, you have to say while I say shutdown or no shutdown, and that's your prediction of what you think's gonna happen at midnight on Saturday. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Shutdown. Yeah, it's fucked.
I thought you were going to do your they'll figure it out.
No. Definitely.
This is something where I think they will.
It's definitely
just for
shutting
shits
down.
and giggles for a few days.
Well,
possibly a couple weeks.
Well, that's why I looked up to see how real it was. I looked up the history of how many shutdowns we've had, and we've had like plenty. So then the most recent one wasn't decades ago; it was 4 years ago. Yeah. So we're going to shut down again. I mean, there's no. Yeah. It's not like the debt thing where it's like, have we done this? Oh, it's not going to happen because it's never happened before. So I would say no, it's not going to happen. But this one just happened recently, so it's like a leap year. Like we're going to shut down.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they have the ability. I mean, they have the ability. I don't think they have the. I don't think it doesn't seem like it's
the House as a whole doesn't have the ability to get through this.
McCarthy doesn't want to. Yeah,
They said they oust him if he takes one Democrat vote to get this approved. They oust him.
Right.
Yeah. So
he's
what do you do? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like different avenues. I don't know. I think it made me think about how you say often that the Republicans are like they're equally to blame about the debt, right? Like I think like you would agree that you've said that and believe that they are. I say equally, but they are also to blame.
Sure,
regardless, they're to blame.
Sure,
I'm not hanging you up on equally.
Yeah.
But like maybe with moves, they get criticized for moves like this, but maybe these are the moves that are necessary to rid themselves of that blame. So I feel like now this seems extreme, seems a little extreme, but on one hand, it's like, well, the Republicans don't care about the debt, and when they're in power, whatever, they also raise the debt, but then they hold up funding the government over stricter spending, and then they get criticized for shutting down the government over it because they care so much about not contributing to the debt. So I'm wondering, you can't blame them for both, right?
Well, we're only talking about like literally a handful of the Republicans that are wanting to shut it down.
I think it's 10 or 11 right now, and they can't lose more than 4.
They can't lose more than 4, but it doesn't matter the exact number, but I thought that there was. I guess what I have read is that a fair amount of the House Freedom Caucus, maybe even most of the House Freedom Caucus, is willing to sort of let there at least be a vote and move forward on this, but that there's the hardliners of the hardliners, the Gates and a couple of others, and maybe Marjorie Taylor Greene, that are like seriously like just don't care, doesn't matter what you offer me. It's kind of like a weird. I'm sure they've got to have their reason. It's hard for me to believe that they're just so strongly against increasing the debt an inch that they are willing to do this, because it's ultimately they're going to fund the government. Like ultimately they're not going to get their way through this. So it just seems like
it's all about like the programs that are being funded. Go ahead, keep going.
To me, it seems like if you don't fund the government, I'm gonna slam my hand with this hammer until you do. It's
like a hostage situation with all of America.
But they're fucking themselves. They're not getting themselves anything, because historically, the American people, if they shut down the government, if you've got the Senate is probably going to pass a continuing resolution by the end of the weekend. In time, put it that way, to at least push it a few weeks down the road and fund it as is, so give them more time. They're going to do that. The House is over here fucking around, not funding the government. The American people typically are going to blame the people in power in that house that are not passing it. So the people like Matt Gaetz, they're only going to lose seats potentially. You know, if you follow this logically, you're going to potentially lose seats in the House of Representatives the next election.
You mean
then have even less power to enact legislation?
How? Take that further. How do you lose seats? Because the people that are relying on those jobs that are no longer funded are now furloughed or not getting paid while working and shit. And now they're pissed, and they're like, Republicans are to blame, so we're not going to vote for you next time. The American
people / people that are actually harmed.
Yes, because there's real consequences to a government shutdown, right? There's like I looked in air travel alone. There's like 63,000 people that either get furloughed or not paid but have to work. And that's just in air travel.
Right. So, if the national parks are shut down for a few days, not a lot of people really give a fuck. That doesn't move the needle. But, you start having military
TSA,
people not being paid. You've got TSA, I don't know what else, but some things are going to be, are going to hurt. When you do that,
some people get furloughed, like they don't even get back paid, right? You get furloughed, you get sent home, and you don't work for that period of time, and you don't get paid for that period of time. Yeah. Other people that are essential show up and work, and then they get back paid. So some people are just fucking out money. Like they don't ever get that money back paid.
Really? They don't even. Oh, they don't.
No,
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, so they're already moving around like events planned for Sunday and shit, and moving them to Saturday, so like the staff doesn't have to work or the events don't get canceled. But if you're furloughed, non-critical people will get furloughed, and they go home. They hang out with their kids, they lay on the couch, whatever. They're not going to get back paid when the government opens up.
So if the elections are decided by the independents and which way they want to flip, it's going to be a what the fuck are y'all doing type of. I feel like
you just made a shutdown. I'm not voting for you.
I'm like, really, guys? Like, get your shit together. And so they've already got a razor-thin majority. That's why they have this problem of, that's why McCarthy has such an issue. Normally, they just say, fuck off to, like, the fringe, right? But they can't do that right now because they have a razor-thin majority and because they made promises to them. So if they lose, there's like 18 Republicans in Congress that are from districts that Biden won. Like if you look at their district congressional map,
so areas that Biden won. Those are risky.
So those are
right?
So that could cost them. That's why those guys are like kind of pissed at the gates of the world right now.
Can you guys fucking chill, bro?
Yeah, and they've thrown around this discharge petition idea, which is a way that you can go around the speaker to get a bill to the floor, but it takes time. And
I think is this the thing we talked about?
We've talked about it before.
Is that what it is?
We talked about it as a possible thing they might have done with the debt ceiling.
For the debt ceiling, they had, because if they did it like 90 days in advance or some shit, they'd get it through.
Takes a lot of time and so forth.
But that never happened.
Yeah. So that's what I mean by the Gates is. This will not bear any fruit. They're not gonna get they're not going to change how much money we spend by, trying to block us from funding the government, but they'll, so it's like, I guess it is good for the TV, and that's what people accuse Gates of, that are even his colleagues. Like, yeah, go look at his office and all the TV cameras down there. That's what this guy's kind of getting off on or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't like to.
He's like, I'm going to say some shit. I'm going to go back to my office and talk to the TV all day.
So, I mean, to your point, I just don't feel
like this isn't the move that makes you happy in terms of cutting spending.
They're asking for, so when they had the deal for the debt ceiling of how they were going to fund the government, remember it was like, we'll not let it increase by more than 1 or 2% or something. And I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was like, if you adjust for inflation, it was like,
it was a cut. Still, it was a cut
or something.
It was a cut. Yeah.
But these Republicans that are basically causing the shutdown are like wanting more cuts than that, because they're mad about things that they feel like McCarthy promised them that they didn't get.
So they want 120 billion less spending than what's proposed right now, is what I read.
And the thing is, it's like none of it is from, to your sort of hypothetical point about saving our debt problem, none of this is proposed to come from the areas of our spending that really drive the debt, which is Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, and the military spending.
Well,
they're trying to cut around some of the
money. To me, I mean, if you save 120 billion, you save 120 billion, right? Like, that's still real money. It's not the main problem,
sure, but it's still not money. It's still like fucking. It's not moving you into the plus side or whatever.
I think the problem is that is that these programs, this money is going to things that Republicans don't largely agree with, like the climate shit, these initiatives for things that aren't like anti-fossil fuels or subsidies for electric cars and shit that they're like, fuck you, we need whatever economic independence drill. And I think it's a lot of the money's going to things that they don't want. Like, they might not have a problem with the money and the dollar amount, it's just it's on Democratic agendas. But I don't know, because the Republicans are just saying it's cool, I was like, the Republicans agree with it, but they don't probably agree with it. They're just like, yeah, I mean, it's a compromise, so sure, we'll put 120 billion worth of your Democratic shit in there, and we don't care. We need the government funded.
I mean, they have to ultimately, they're going to have to get a Democratic-led Senate and president just to go along with it. The bill that the House produces,
which is insane to me, right? So, like, the fact that these people, these hardline, whatever, hard right Republicans are pushing like this, because whatever they propose is not going to get approved by the Senate. It's crazy. Like, why? Right. Like, why? It almost seems ridiculous.
Exactly.
If they had the Senate, right, and they were making this big of a stance, and they're like, look, if we can get some hard right stuff through the House, and that's our hurdle, the Senate's going to go along with it. Fuck it. But that's not the case.
Yeah, so the thing is, like, it's one thing if you're Gates, because I've been thinking about this, and it's like, I feel like if you're Gates, like, all right, let's say you truly believe all this stuff, don't vote in favor of it. But they're blocking it from even getting to being voted on. I don't know if you completely follow that.
How? They're just saying that we're not going to vote for it.
Well, what they're saying is, no, they've, as I understand it, they've blocked it from getting to the floor for it to even be debated, amended, and then voted on.
But how do you do that other than just saying a group of us are going to vote no if you propose it, so there's no point?
Because they have to vote. They vote. There's a procedural vote that takes place before the other debating and voting goes on. They have not. They voted against, all Democrats plus these group of Republicans voted against the procedural vote to let it move forward.
Why would the Democrats vote against it?
Because
don't they want? Aren't the Democrats and the Republicans
because they reject language that's in, or whatever they think is going to happen with the bill. They reject certain elements of it, so they're saying we're not going to help you do it. like you guys are going to have to come together.
They're saying you have to do it on your own. Democrats are always going to vote no to Republican proposed things generally, and they're going to say Republicans have to figure their own shit out if they want their own.
We'll let you hang yourselves if you're going to fucking.
Okay, so the Democrats and Republicans aren't really like agreeing on this thing right now for the procedural vote. It's the Democrats are no. If the Republicans all vote yes, then it goes to the real vote, and then. But
that thing would still have to be somewhat moderate enough to get to be the same as the Senate version.
Yes.
Right.
Fuck, dude. So they're stopping that one.
And so the thing is, like, if McCarthy wanted to actually play ball, as Speaker, if he wanted to say, all right, I'm going to make my bill more moderate so that I can get a lot of Republicans and a group of Democrats, well, then some Democrats might come on.
But then he's going to get ousted.
Right. Oh, he's in all kind of a fucked up situation.
Yeah. He put himself in that situation because he was so fucking hungry for that job. Like, I blame him entirely for most of these messes.
I mean, but how else was going to get the job? Who else was going to get the job?
But he could get the country. One person could get the whole country out of this government shutdown if he just went and got Democratic votes. Right? And then he would be out of his job. But so be it. One person could fix the whole thing.
I think that's accurate. That's correct.
Yeah, right. Because he could probably, he could go throw some super Democratic agenda in there and get 10 Democrats, and you're good.
Fair. You could put the ball in their court to the American people and who they're going to blame. You could say, look, I put forth this thing.
Yeah. He can't keep doing what he's doing because it's going to keep happening. They did it with the debt ceiling. They did it with this. They're going to do it at least one more year.
But see, the debt ceiling looked like it was going to be effective. Like that looked like, well, maybe the Republicans are going to. Maybe he is going to be able to govern. And then this happened.
Yeah, it was like the most votes, the most fucking rounds in history or whatever. No, that was for the speakership.
It was a lot, but
so he's
now they are moving currently. I think they did get through the procedural hurdles because there's multiple budget bills, appropriation bills.
There's like 12?
12. Ideally, there's 12. Typically, in the last several decades, there's just been omnibus bill after omnibus bill. They jam them all together,
and I think,
and they fuck the members, and the members just have to say yes or no.
Isn't it the Freedom Caucus or these hard writers that are against that type of thing, right?
Right, and I agree with that.
And they're also against this continuing resolution thing. I've seen most of them are like, we said from the get-go we're not voting in favor of continued resolutions, which is what's required at this point.
Yeah.
Okay, so
but I was saying with that, they seemed, I believe they got past the procedural hurdle on the military budget, the State Department budget, I think the agriculture budget, some of the key areas that you kind of want to make sure you fund, so they could conceivably maybe go ahead and pass those within a couple of days.
Is that why they're calling this a partial shutdown? Because they've individually funded some things? Okay. I'm wondering why it's a partial shutdown.
But if they do pass those, it's going to have to be, it's going to have to match that Senate language, and I don't know how close we're going to be on all that. So I think we're headed for at least a partial shutdown.
I think they said, I fucking could be wrong on this. I think they said one is fully approved, and that might mean, I didn't understand what it meant, but I think that's through maybe with the Senate too.
Yeah, I think that's only in the House. I think the House has passed one of the 12,
and then there's 3 others I think that are pending. They said something about 4 of the 12 was another stat. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It sounds like they're making progress though. But so what is this other overall vote about then on the whole government spending? If you have this 12-piece thing, what is
that? Is the whole thing? It's just 12 bills. They're kind of like 12 different. Like there's
12 different votes.
It's kind of like. Oh yeah.
Okay, so when we're talking about this government shutdown and Gates isn't on board and all that shit, it's like he's not on board with 12 different things. Minus one, maybe. Yeah, we're talking about 12 things though, not one. This whole time to avoid a government shutdown. They need to fund. So. They need to pass all 12 of these.
That was a part of what the Freedom Caucus demanded when it came to handing McCarthy the gavel. Is they wanted to go away from this whole recent history where we've done.
You just hand me a mess of shit, and I have to approve it all at once, or
yes or no without reading it and all this shit.
Yeah,
I want 12 bills the way it's traditionally supposed to be. All of that I'm on board with.
Mm-hmm.
Because they have more power, because they have such a slim margin, they have more power. But it's like, instead of using their leverage and just getting something that they can get, they're going like nuclear option kind of. And I read an article that was talking about Pelosi, how like Pelosi has had some thin majorities. She's had some harder left people, but those harder left people like looked at the reality, took some things they could get, and passed a bill. You know what I'm saying? But they're like in a non-negotiation stage, the Gateses. And I guess it's like, I don't think they're actually nihilistic. I think that they have some incentive at an individual level that maybe they think it benefits them or they like it. And you got Trump out there saying to crash and burn, don't give an inch, don't pass the budget, let it shut down. It's better to shut down this way than have our debt crisis and all this, Yeah. But I feel like you as a single member, like you need to at least let it move forward, and then you can vote nay. I got no problem with someone voting no as an individual if they in good conscience can't vote in favor of it. Okay. They won't even let it get to the full House being able to debate it and vote on it. And and they can't be, you can't, one person can't decide for everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
sure, you might want
they can.
Right. But it's only, but ultimately not really, because they're gonna find a way to fund the government. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not as if they're ultimately going to really. Maybe he wants to be. Maybe he thinks there's an avenue for him to be speaker. Gates. That is. I don't know.
Hey, what if? Here's the thing. What if the Democrats just like sabotaged McCarthy and voted with him, and that automatically triggers Freedom Caucus gets mad and ousts them? Like, that'd be an easy play, right? Like, on some lob ball thing that I don't even care about, I say, I vote for it.
I don't know that they want.
And they're like, you're ousted.
I don't know that they want McCarthy ousted. There could be worse options.
You think so? You think a worse option from the Republican side would make it in? You'd have to get all the Republicans to go along with that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think I would do it.
I mean, there's not a better option.
It's such a shit show. I think I'd be like, oust him. Maybe I would just vote to oust him.
So yeah, it's a weird thing. It's just hard to make sense of it, sort of.
Gates is like he's a I don't know if I like him or not. So I hate this stuff that he does. But like, if I see him on individual things, like, I don't know what the situations are where they're like interviewing a person and they're up in their chairs behind some like nice wooden thing, and there's like a panel of people and they're like yelling at Merrick Garland. I really like when he does that.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't stand.
But some of the points that they make, like Ted Cruz does it too, and I love when he does it too, because like in a moment, in that minute snippet or 5-minute snippet, they usually highlight like some good thing
it's typically out of context.
Oh, totally. Maybe
and all that
maybe.
shit.
But I love those.
Like it.
I love those.
Feels good, but
right.
It's not based typically in reality, in my opinion.
I love those though.
So okay, well.
but then I know,
right, and so do a lot of other people, and that's the point.
But then I know he's doing all this, and I'm like, come on, man, come on. You have to really think like all of these people are not going to make money. Like, break it down into the simplest, like the little guy who doesn't give a fuck about any of the shit you're doing right now in Congress and the government budget. He just wants to make his paycheck, pay for whatever he needs to pay for. And that guy is not going to be making money next week because you want to be a dickhead. Like, that's a hard thing, I think. I feel like if people thought of it like that, they wouldn't do these moves, And
I get it if some people probably feel, well, they always go back and they spend the money anyway. The Republicans, if they're in power, they do it, or the Democrats do it. Yeah. And so they're like, maybe like, yeah, this guy is actually saying, fuck it, I'm drawing a line in the sand. I don't care if we blow the whole thing up. We got to stop this. And that probably resonates with some people. But in my view, it's like, unless you have more Americans on your side about the spending and all this, and they can elect more people to the body that is Congress to actually impose these changes, then you've got to compromise and get what you can get. But some people just don't like that part of the game, kind of. But that's sort of like, you represent your district, but you're representing them kind of like the best that you can to get the best deal that you can, and
But you
to
gotta play
give
the
it
game.
the best effort. But you got to play the game at the end of the day.
It's a game, so you can do it to
I
represent.
mean,
them,
it's
but you have to play
democracy.
it.
It's messy, but it's how the sausage is made. Like, kind of,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah. So everyone's fucked on Sunday. If you have a Sunday
yeah.
government job, you're fucked. If you have a Monday government job, you're maybe less fucked, but likely fucked.
if the NFL's on, I'm good.
Well, cable might get turned off.
Huh?
Oh, you have a government job. You get paid?
Oh yeah, I get paid by the people of Indian River County, not the Uncle Sam.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's federal government. States don't care.
Nope. Fuck them.
Okay. So I changed my statement. If you are a federal government employee, you're fucked on Sunday.
And I don't really get paid by the state either. Just I get paid by the county.
We know who you get paid by. You get paid by the county? I'm so lost.
I think. I mean, that's where most of the funding comes from. I mean, the school district of Indian River County writes my checks.
Yeah.
So
Is that all you got on the government shutdown? You gotta
yeah,
have more.
I mean, it's
Really?
just a goofy, fucked up, messy
Really?
situation. We were
All right.
talking for a while.
Have we?
Damn.
I don't even know where we're at now.
What else do you need me to say?
You're only in the 30s on time, right?
Shit.
All right. Well, let's blast through these real quick so we don't have to. All right. We covered the debates. We covered the government shutdown. Some of these are just kind of like easy little. They're almost like little quick hits here. So Giuliani groped Cassidy Hutchinson. That happened, allegedly. So Cassidy Hutchinson is the girl. I say girl because she was like 24 when all this shit happened with the January 6th thing. She's the one that came out and was like, Trump was fucking throwing plates at the wall, and I cleaned the ketchup off of it, and he was like almost choked the social security guy, all that shit. And then she like reclused for 15 months or something and disappeared. She was like afraid to go out in public and like kept all her drapes closed and went like full hermit. And then she wrote, apparently on an impulse, this memoir called Enough, where she said a bunch of shit. And I guess one of the things that came out of that was that on January 6th of 21, I guess the following year, there was some event that they were at or some, like a celebration for January 6th probably. And she recalled Giuliani, she goes, quote, "I felt his frozen fingers trail up my thigh," end quote. And she got up and stormed off. It's a little Giuliani cold finger. That's what they call it. Little frozone.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know what to make of that.
I wonder how high up the thigh, though, Like one might just be like a, how's it going, champ? And one might be a little, whoo.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know. Wasn't there.
Wasn't there.
Not going to assume.
So that's a quick one. So he's oh, did I just delete my note? Uh-oh. Nope, there it is. So that was one. We talked about Biden's dog biting someone for the 11th time. But he also did the picketer thing. He stood up with the UAW picketers, rioters, peaceful protesters. What do we call them?
The union, picketing would be fair to
The
say.
United Auto
Workers? Yep.
Union, UAW.
Yeah.
So, what do you think about that? You gotta have. Assume we know nothing about it. What do you think of the move?
Assuming I know nothing, I am pro-union.
You're
Generally
pro-union.
speaking, I'm a member of a union.
What could that mean? Generally speaking, are you part of a union?
No, I am part of a union. I said, generally speaking, I support unions.
Oh,
period.
And you are.
I am a member of a union.
Are you? Is that like a
teachers union?
Is that like a by default thing?
No.
Or do you have to sign up?
I pay my dues.
You pay for it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
how
a
unions
thing.
work. They
You have to
collect dues.
pay. Oh, wow! I thought this was just something that you just like.
So all these people, for example, that are on strike by the UAW, they're getting paid by the UAW while they're on strike.
It's like
of the
insurance.
dues that they, sort of, yeah.
Oh, I thought it was just
Or
something
say I get, some kid says I said something, or I don't know, I get in trouble legally. I have union representation.
Really?
So that's, it's like insurance in that case.
I didn't know this.
Now if I wasn't paying my dues, I would not have that union representation.
Yeah.
So, we
So you're pro union.
we negotiate our our contract every year.
That's not on an individual level. That is on a.
No, I mean like what days we get off, what evaluations they can throw at us, how many evaluations they can have, or it's things like that. So there's a bunch of things in the contract,
and then the union handles all, like representatives of the union handle all that.
I guess negotiate with lawyers.
It's like a board or some shit, and they figure out what's fair.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're pro union.
So I'm generally speaking
pro union.
Yes.
What do you think about the 40% raise they're asking for?
That's hard to say. So I haven't looked at the numbers in close detail. I feel like
it's 40%. It's based off the CEO's raise this year was 40%.
That seems kind of weird to base it off of.
That's what the head guy getting interviewed said.
Yeah. So like, that seems a little bit odd. Like if you're gonna, you've got to make sure that the business can still be like
is a viable business,
solvent. Yeah, viable if you're going to continue to work for it. Right. So maybe chill. But some guy on one of our TikToks said in 2008 they dropped it by they dropped their wages by like 35% or something. So like with inflation or some shit, does inflation make sense? Yeah, with inflation 40% might make sense to be like a balance. And I was like, haha, whatever, fuck you. But it may make sense, right? So that's what I'm saying. I don't really know the numbers, but if they're making all these profits still, and their CEO can get this type of a raise, then
well, like a CEO, you have to think.
It's one person.
It is one person. It's a lot of money for one person. Sure, you have to think about like what. I always assume that everybody is competent at their job. I just assume if you have your job, you're competent. So assume everybody in this discussion is competent. The CEO is doing a lot of shit compared to Joe, whatever guy, working bottom tier at whatever. So I feel like his 40%, it's a lot of money, but like he probably deserves it. Like you got like a career of experience.
That's a hard one to argue. Yeah. When you're saying someone is deserving of 1,000x your pay. Or some shit. Like, are you really that much more productive? It's a tough one. It's so.
Assuming he's got it's higher stake, higher risk.
No one's
job.
saying he shouldn't be paid more than them.
Yeah, but maybe not 40% more. Maybe.
But not he's not making 40% more than them.
He's 40% more than he was making earlier in the year.
Right.
Which was already like 7,000%.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the whole idea with unions is, hey, we should share in the benefits of the company. So if the company is doing well and we're making more profits and we're back up whatever, then this is what we think we should get. If you can compete with Toyota, is not our problem. We're just saying
yeah, what if you can't now? What if they're genuinely
they're not going to go under. They're just I don't know.
They're like, hey, 40% will leave. Like we will go under if I give you 40%. Like sure, you guys get 40% and you're now all fired because we're all out of business.
My guess is they wouldn't ask for something that they calculate would make them no longer have jobs.
Yeah, maybe. I assume they're asking for 40 to get 30. Like just like a typical.
I mean,
they said they're not though.
Versus labor, right? It's a negotiation.
They claim they're not. Like
no one wants to give it up.
No negotiation stance is what they're claiming. They're like it's 40. It's not 40. It's 40. Which I'm like, what the fuck? Like take your 35 or whatever they offer. Shoot, we're the 30.
They must think they're in a strong negotiating position.
What I care more about is what do you think about Biden going to the line? No president's done this.
None. I like it.
You like it?
Yeah.
You like it?
Well, politically, he's got to. Michigan's an important state.
Yep, sure is.
And he needs the UAW has not endorsed him yet.
Right.
And so he needs that. He needs these workers. He needs the state. He says he's the strongest union president in history. So he's got to. I mean, how do you not? I mean, and Trump's going to follow him up with some shit here in a couple of days.
Well,
today.
So what do you think about the timing of Biden going?
Yeah, let me beat Trump to it.
Yeah, because Trump has been planning to go here for a while, long before Biden decided to show up the day before. When he's here for a campaign on his campaign trail, and he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna go there, and this is a predetermined thing," and then Biden last minute is like, "I'm gonna get there."
Yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah. 15 minutes he made it. I heard less than 15 minutes he stood out there.
And it's kind of a little funny, I guess, that part of their problem, these workers, is some of Biden's policies, because he wants to fast forward.
Right, that's why they haven't endorsed him, right?
Vehicles.
Yeah.
And electric vehicles apparently require less labor to make and so forth. And so they're like, well, fuck, this is going to make us lose jobs. So this is where unions can be like bad. I said, generally speaking, I kind of like the concept, but they can be anti-progress in a way, right? I mean, they're just looking out for themselves and their own bottom line. They're not looking out for economic efficiency or the country,
right?
So I just, it's a tough one.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. That's good. It was good discussion on that. All right. We got groping. We got UAW pick. Oh, it's Trump. We covered the Trump visit. Oh, I think you'll like this one. We talked about it like super briefly on my trip. The House initial review, the House Oversight Committee initial review of the Biden alias emails initial review turned up nothing about corruption on his alternate alias email addresses.
I'm not shocked. I thought we had this conversation. If we didn't, that's not uncommon.
Yeah.
For these elected officials to have alias emails.
Yeah, there's a Republican argument.
Have Joe Biden at AOL.com. I mean, that's going to be
Gmail now. AOL.
I meant
your age is showing.
I actually meant Joe Biden at whitehouse.gov. That would not be the ideal email for you to actually be receiving email through.
How old are you again? Hannah's email address actually ends in AOL.com still.
35. I was just trying to say something that sounded lame.
AIM.com. Instant messenger.
Sure, yeah.
Still only use that.
Hotmail.
Yep.
You're the fucking Comcast guy or some bullshit. Shut the
I've
fuck up.
had Comcast since I was like 13 or something.
I told you, I don't even respond to parent emails if they come from Comcast. I assume they're like not legitimate people.
Oh, my mom asked me like a couple months ago. She's like, "Do you still use your email address through Comcast? Like, I'm cleaning up our accounts and stuff on here." I'm like, "Mom, that's my email address for everything. If you delete that, I am fucked. You cannot delete my Comcast email address." So ridiculous.
Damn, you gotta set up a forwarding thing.
I know I should, right? So they've only reviewed 14 pages, and I don't know the ratio between pages and emails, like what's the equivalency.
Yeah.
But they said they've read 14 unredacted pages approved by the White House for review out of 5,000 emails. So they haven't even begun to start, really. But it is interesting that the first 14 that were presented were no issue, but they were presented by the White House.
He wasn't going to fucking jump on his email and type out shit. That's not how this works. They're not going to.
Maybe he did though.
Maybe
one of the emails said that the people in whatever fucking country he was in, the women there said he was very sexy.
Ooh.
That was an email either to him or from him. I think it was an email from him telling maybe Hunter that the women there think I'm sexy.
That's funny.
I'd have to pull it up again because it's hilarious.
Are you sure? Because I haven't seen this. It's just odd that I haven't come across this, if this is real.
Oh, the sexy thing?
Yeah.
Totally. I don't know. The Hunter part is the unknown part. He sent the email to someone. One of them is from him saying the women there thought I was sexy.
I mean, hey.
It's in the New York Times article that I read about it.
Gotcha.
Last two things.
I have something I'm going to jump in with. Because you mentioned, is it Cassie Hutchinson? Cassidy Hutchinson. You said something about her memoir, which made me remember that they had a article in the Atlantic recently called "The Patriot" about shit. What's his name? Millie? Is it Millie?
Millie. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They had an article about
This
him.
the Millie Trump thing?
Yeah, and Trump comes out and says, back in the day, they would have, hung him.
They would have hung Millie.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's kind of a problem that you have a potential presidential candidate saying, back in the day, the Joint Chiefs of Staff would have been hung for that. I mean, it just slides under the radar.
Why do you think it's why do you think that's a problem to say that? He said back in the day.
I think he was.
I mean, back in the day, they would have done a lot of shit.
I don't. You know what?
He just made a correlation. He's like, you did a thing. They would have done another thing to you for doing that thing if this was 50 years ago, 60, 100. I have no concept of time. 100 years ago. I agree with you. I'm just fucking.
I don't know if he said back in the day though. Actually, that was my paraphrasing. He said something It may be worse. Pull it up.
Is it worth pulling it
Pull
up?
it up. Who knows?
Pull it up. Let's see. Let's fucking
Millie.
Is Chrome working though? I don't know that
sentenced to
Chrome
death.
is working. Millie Bobby Brown, Stranger Things 5. What?
No.
Was he a general or something? What's he?
Yeah.
General Millie Trump quote. What, you think that'll get me? Why is it
Probably.
doing that, man? It's like timing out. Bro, this is trash. I fix one problem and just end up with another one. Hey, everybody. It's me again. I don't know what I'm doing. Tell me if you see Chrome anywhere.
It's not that important.
Well, at this point,
I mean, I can
feel
pull
like
up
you
on
should
my
do it,
phone
right?
quicker than we can do this. Jesus Christ.
It's working now. Millie Trump. No, it's not working. I'm fucked, dude. Yeah, it's trash. Something happened. My shit's being crazy. Oh, here you go. Yahoo News. Trump suggests Mark Milley should be executed in possible breach of pretrial release conditions. Yeah. It's embarrassing moment in American history with his grossly Is this his quote?
Go down. I see it. This is an act so egregious that in times gone by, the punishment would have been death. Okay. Yeah. So basically, I was right in terms of my paraphrasing back in the day. That was
In times gone by. Yeah. So what did he do?
Shit.
I couldn't figure out what he did when I was reading all this.
I don't think it was anything bad. I don't recall. It was like
his withdrawal from Afghanistan.
No.
That's what the first thing is.
That's him talking about him. That's him bashing Milley for shit. That's not what Milley did. Go down a little bit. Let's see if they mention it at the bottom. Okay. Mr. Trump's attacks on Mr. Milley come after the military official was featured in an in-depth profile in The Atlantic where the general described Mr. Trump's disturbing, quote-unquote, alleged lack of respect for the armed forces. He described how at a 2019 event, Mr. Trump reportedly expressed disgust that Luis Avila, an Army veteran who served 5 combat... Okay, so what this is talking about is there was this guy that was like, in a wheelchair or some shit that they had performing at some event... And after the fact, Trump's like, why the fuck did you have that guy? Don't ever let him do this shit again. And it was just totally...
But what did Milley do? What did Milley do? Okay, what did Milley do to be hung?
It's down here. Mr. Trump's China comments likely reference a set of calls Mr. Milley paid to his Chinese counterpart, assuring him the U.S. didn't have plans in 2020 and early 2021 to attack China, after intelligence officials captured Chinese officials appearing to fear the prospect as likely.
So he's saying he was like he was giving China like insider info that, hey, we're not planning to do anything about this, and like exposing that we're not serious about this.
But he's obviously a general.
He's like, that's treasonous.
He's trying to
ward.
Sure. But he's trying to ward off a fucking conflict because he thinks that they got bad intel that there's going to be an attack. He's saying we're not attacking. Like this is not. Unfair.
This is what I recall, and this is why I didn't understand what was so wrong about it. Because at least how it was phrased in the article that I read, it was saying exactly what you said. Like Milley was telling them because it seemed like an attack was likely or something, or a retaliation was likely. Milley was telling them, we're not trying to escalate this. Like, not that like it's cool that you did whatever, but like we're not going to retaliate. There's no need for this to get worse. Just let's everyone chill. And then Trump was like, that's treason.
And I remember something about this back when it happened, like actually like months or years ago. I guess this is years ago now. I recall something in the back of my head about when this happened.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything really dramatic. It was just like, there was this escalation all of a sudden. Things that you never hear about, that we never knew about. Nothing escalated. But behind the scenes, they thought, with their intelligence, that there was something big. And Milley was like, no, we're good. Like,
we're straight. That's fine.
Not, I don't have any interpretation of that being treasonous. I mean,
I don't know. So
you're not leaking that. You are the personnel of the military yourself that's communicating with other military.
Yeah.
You know, you're not like, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
totally.
so
it said there in that article, I don't know if you saw it, but it said that it's likely that he's doing it because Milley is some like high person in the Mar-a-Lago case over Trump. So he's just going after him.
So I didn't read the whole profile, but in the article, but I did see that part about Trump roasting the military person. And I was just like, holy shit, man, this guy's really fucking